How's it going, everyone? Hope you all had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. So it's the time of year now when it's time to start thinking about what you're going to be growing. For me, I grow a whole bunch of different vegetables, even some fruits, but my main thing is tomatoes. I love tomatoes, I love growing tomatoes, I love all the different varieties of tomatoes, and today I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the different varieties that I'm going to be trying out this year. Each year I like to grow the classics that I enjoy, that I like, but I also like to throw in a whole bunch of new ones. There's so many different varieties to choose from, it can almost be overwhelming. But for me, I found that I love heirlooms. They're just the best. I love the history behind them, I love the flavor, I love the unpredictability of the plants, I love everything about them. With that being said, there are still a few hybrids that I grow for disease resistance and just for reliability. If you're looking for a tomato that you know is going to be there, it's going to do well, it's going to produce all year, then a hybrid is probably the best option. If you want to explore some cool history, take a few chances and see what happens, then heirlooms are definitely more up your alley. So without further ado, I got a list here of the different varieties that I'm going to be growing. I'll put pictures up as I say them so you can see what they are, but here we go. So I'm going to start with the hybrids. So the first hybrid I'm going to be growing is one that I grew last year that, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best tasting cherry tomato that you can get, and that is the Sun Gold. The Sun Gold is an F1 type seed. It is very prolific. It's got relatively decent disease resistance, and it produces all year round, assuming obviously till the frost date, but it'll produce all summer long, and the fruit is just delicious. It doesn't make it inside the house. It's one of the ones that you take off and you eat right there in the garden. I haven't really tried cooking with it. I can't imagine it would be too good. I've put them into salads before, and I did find they were a little bit too sweet for a salad, in my opinion, but just an all-around 10 out of 10, great snacking tomato, and of course a cherry tomato. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure to grow these every year. These are a staple for me. The next one is the Mountain Magic tomato. Now, the Mountain Magic tomato is a great producer. You're gonna get these little, almost cocktail-sized tomatoes. They're pretty good flavor. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say they're the best tasting tomato I've ever had, but they have relatively decent flavor, definitely better than anything you can get at the store. And you know, they're just very productive. Amazing disease resistance to late blight, which was a massive issue in my garden this past season. And it's, you know, it was the only plant that really survived through it all at the end of the day. So if you have an issue with diseases, and you had in the past, it's a good idea to get some like a Mountain Magic in there just to guarantee that you're going to get that garden fresh tomato no matter what happens. The next and final hybrid that I'm going to be growing is the classic Super Sweet 100. I'm sure everybody has tried this. It's a very popular variety. You see it at all the big box stores. And you know what? It's just a classic red cherry tomato that you know is going to be productive. You don't have to worry about it too much. You just know you're going to get a lot of tomatoes. For me, as somebody who's looking to get into market gardening, you know, this is something that attracts me because I want to be able to have that consistent crop and not, you know, have to worry about some other factors. So the Super Sweet 100 is just a great all-around cherry tomato that is reliable, that'll keep producing all summer long. Moving on to the next one, we're going to get started with the heirlooms. So this first tomato is probably the most interesting one on the list, for me at least. It's from my family, who originated in Abruzzo, Italy, and they live up in the mountains. And this past summer, my family went to visit them, and they brought me back a tomato that they have been growing in their family for generations. So I'm very, very curious to see how this tomato does. My parents said it was the best tomato they've ever had, and they have a good taste for it, so I trust their word, and I'm very excited to see how this tomato turns out. The next one is the Orlov Yellow Giant. This is a Russian tomato. It's an heirloom as well. It's a very big, large, yellow beefsteak type tomato. Great for slicing. I've heard some great things about it, so I'm very excited. The next one, I'm not going to be able to pronounce properly, so I apologize. But it is Blooddochkin. That's my best attempt. I believe it's German. It's a cherry type tomato, and it just grows like crazy. It reminded me of a variety I grew last year called Barry's Crazy Cherry. Although that was a cool variety to grow, I will say it was one of the worst tasting tomatoes I've ever had. I've heard the opposite of this variety. I've heard it is very, very good, and it produces just about the same. So I'm very looking forward to trying this one. The next one is an American classic called 1884. Again, a classic beefsteak style tomato. I believe this one is a bit more pink in color, and apparently a great slicer. The next one is the classic Brandywine, but this year I'm going to be trying the Sudeth strain, which is believed to be the original strain. I've tried pink Brandywine, I've tried red Brandywine. I've never had the original Sudeth, as they call it, so I'm very, very excited for that. Brandywine is a staple in my garden. I make sure to grow Brandywine tomatoes every year. The next one is another Italian tomato. It is Costoluto Fiorentine. I tried Costoluto Genovese last year, and it was one of my favorite tomatoes. I was seriously considering growing it again this year, but then I found out about the Costoluto Fiorentine, and I decided to try that one instead. But I'm very, very excited, and I have high hopes for this one. The next one is the Cherokee Purple, which is in my top 2, if not top 3 for favorite tomatoes. All the hype is real that you hear about it. It's an amazing tomato. It grows well. You get, all fruit sizes really. I've had smaller fruits. I've had absolutely massive tomatoes come off of these plants. The taste is amazing. It's got a smoky, sweet flavor. The insides of them are beautiful. Just an all-around 10 out of 10 tomato and a classic heirloom. The next one is the Olena Ukraine, or Olena Ukrainian. I haven't tried this one yet. This is a potato leaf tomato variety, so similar to the Brandywine. And it's apparently very, very juicy, very meaty tomato, and a great slicer. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. The next one is another dark tomato, and it is the Paul Robinson. I've heard amazing things about this tomato. I've heard it's one of the best tasting. I do believe it originated in Russia as well, but I could be wrong about that. It's a classic heirloom. It's named after, I believe, a famous jazz musician, Paul Robinson, and I've heard amazing things. I heard the tomatoes are a little bit smaller than what you get on a Cherokee Purple, but I heard the flavor is better, so we'll have to see. The next one is called Italian Heirloom. I know, I didn't believe that was the name at first either, but it's apparently a classic heirloom from Italy, and it gets you these beautiful big beefsteak type tomatoes that could also be used for sauces, canning, and even just enjoying fresh. So I'm very much looking forward to this variety as well. The final variety I have on my list is a Canadian heirloom. I believe it originated from Manitoba. I grabbed it from a site called Revival Seeds. If you are in Canada, please make sure to check them out. They have a great selection of heirloom tomatoes, flowers, and all kinds of different vegetables. This tomato is called the Sam Herbert tomato. I may have said that wrong, but yes, I'm very excited for this. Apparently it's comparable to Brandywine. They even say they enjoy it more, but a similar style tomato, and definitely one I'm looking forward to trying this year. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to stay tuned. I'll definitely be making more updates regarding the garden and how I'm preparing for it, what I'm doing, the different seeds I'm starting, not just tomatoes, but other vegetables as well. I'm going to make sure to document the whole process and take you along with me. So thanks for watching.